My roommate and I were inseparable. We didn't just eat together and live together, we had the exact same tastes. We wore the same clothes and ate the same food. If we hadn't looked different, people probably wouldn't have been able to tell us apart. But one day, my roommate came to me with a paper talisman and asked me to sign it. She said she'd had it made specially for me, a charm for protection. We'd each have one. I didn't take it. I just looked at her calmly. Are you sure you want to borrow my life? My life, once borrowed, can never be returned. A flash of panic crossed my roommate Becca's eyes, but she quickly composed herself. Chloe, what are you talking about? My mom got these for us. They're protection charms. You write your name on it for it to work. See? I have one just like it. She held out another talisman, her own name written on it. The two charms looked identical, but the signature spots were different. On hers, the name was on the right. On mine, it was on the left. She thought I wouldn't know, but I recognized it instantly. It was a life-stealing charm. Hers was the receiving charm. If I wrote my name on the life-stealing charm, and she had her name on the receiving one, my lifespan would be siphoned away to her. The charm didn't specify a number of years. That meant she wanted all of it. Too bad for her. She had no idea that once the ritual was complete, she wouldn't be far from death herself. My life cannot be borrowed by mortals. Seeing the eager look in Becca's eyes, I didn't say another word. I simply took the charm and wrote my name down. If she wanted to die, who was I to stop her? People always have to pay the price for their actions. When I finished, she let out a sigh of relief and smiled brightly. You have to keep it on you at all times. The master said it only works if it's close to your body. Okay. I didn't argue. I just folded the charm and tucked it inside my shirt. Seeing I had no suspicions, Becca flashed a triumphant smile. I chuckled to myself. Humans. Even after 1,000 years, they're still just as selfish and greedy. From the first day I moved into the dorm, Becca had been overly friendly. She said she felt a connection to me the moment she saw me. She stuck to me like glue, coming and going with me everywhere. She even started mimicking my habits, my diet, and my style until we were practically twins. I knew something was off about her from the start, but I played along, waiting to see what her game was. Now it was clear. She'd been planning to steal my life all along. Becca was in a different department, but she'd been assigned to our dorm at the start of the semester. The school's explanation was that her department's dorms were full, but her family had just donated 2 new buildings to the university. How could there possibly not be enough room for the daughter of a major benefactor? My guess was that her family had been searching for a target for this ritual before the semester even started. It just so happened that our birth charts were a perfect match, so they chose me. I'd been a target from the moment I set foot on campus. After the ritual was complete, Becca's health deteriorated day by day. Her face grew pale and bruised, with a faint aura of death clinging to her. She must have thought I'd done something. She started probing me. Chloe, do you still have that charm I gave you? I've kept it on me the whole time. I pulled the life-stealing charm from my pocket. She snatched it, unfolded it to check, and then, seeing nothing wrong, handed it back. It's really powerful. Make sure you keep it with you. I nodded, taking the charm and putting it back in my pocket. Of course it's powerful. It's only been a few days, and you're already on death's door. If I were a normal person, I'd be the one dying right now. I made an excuse to go to bed. As soon as I climbed into my top bunk and lay down, I saw her frantically texting on her phone, muttering to herself, "This shouldn't be happening. This isn't how it's supposed to work." She was right, it shouldn't. But she had the misfortune of trying to steal my life. I am not human. I have no mortal lifespan. What she was borrowing was my immortal lifespan. Her own mortal life was already short. By taking on my immortal essence, she was only accelerating her demise. The deathly aura on her face was actually my own underworld energy, because I am one of the 10 judges of hell, the 5th judge Bao Ming. Unlike the other 9 judges, who are divine beings sent to the underworld to govern the souls of the dead, I was born of the underworld itself, formed from its primordial energy. I exist outside the 6 realms of existence, the only deity forged from the essence of the underworld. I should have been its first and only master. But I didn't understand human emotions or the rules of their world. While ruling the underworld, I was deceived by mortals. I took pity on them and lightened their punishments, which threw the entire underworld into chaos. When the heavens found out, they demoted me to the fifth hall, in charge of the hells of punishment, and appointed the great emperor to rule in my stead. All 10 judges now answer to him. Not only that, but the emperor cast me into the cycle of human reincarnation, forcing me to experience mortal life and see the wickedness of the human heart for myself. Only then, he said, could I learn to cast aside sentiment and judge with true clarity. In my 1,000 years among humans, I came to deeply understand their treachery and greed, and I grew to resent them for it. If not for them, I would never have been deceived, would never have misjudged, and would never have lost my dominion over the underworld. So when Becca tried to steal my life, I watched with cold indifference. Respecting the fate of others was the first lesson I learned. A bloody lesson, paid for with the loss of an entire realm. Becca said something to whoever she was texting, then got up and rushed out the door. I immediately jumped down from my bunk and followed her. A life-stealing ritual is not something an ordinary person could orchestrate. The person who taught Becca how to steal my life could teach others to steal from anyone. If that happened, lifespans would become jumbled, and the underworld would fall into chaos again. This was the real reason I had returned to the human world after a millennium. It wasn't that Becca targeted me. It's that I had targeted her first. I followed Becca to a gated villa community. The security guard waved her right through, but when I tried to follow, he stopped me. No unauthorized visitors allowed. I'm with the girl who just went in. We're here to see someone. Miss Bai has never brought guests here before. Go on, get out of here. Don't cause trouble. As the guard tried to shoo me away, I said quickly, why don't you just call and ask? Call the house Becca went to. Ask the owner if I can come in. The guard looked at me suspiciously, but after a moment's hesitation made the call. My apologies. I didn't realize you were also a guest of Mr. Chui's. Please go right in. After a brief conversation, the guard immediately let me pass. I knew he would see me. Becca was already showing signs of death. The mastermind behind this couldn't figure out why, so of course, he'd want to meet the person whose life was being stolen. Now that I'd shown up at his door, he'd be curious to find out who I really was. Inside the villa, Becca was shocked to see me. Are you following me? I ignored her and looked at the man sitting behind her. He had sharp features and striking eyes, handsome, but with white hair and a white beard. The face of a young man on the body of an old one. You must be Chloe. Chloe. My name in the human world. I took out the life-stealing charm and tossed it toward him. And you must be the master of this little trinket. The old man didn't speak, just smiled in tacit agreement. Becca, however, was stunned. You knew this was a life-stealing charm? Did you do something to it? Master, she must have tampered with it. That's why I'm getting weaker. I asked you, didn't I? Are you sure you want to borrow my life? You didn't hesitate. Now that you've done it, why the regret? I sighed. Humans. So selfish. When things don't go their way, it's always someone else's fault. It was what she wanted after all. Young lady, the old man said, his voice turning hostile, I don't know who you are, but you'll find that opposing me has consequences. He rose to his feet and with a flick of his wrist, countless white threads shot out, binding me tightly. I thought you must be someone special to break my charm. Turns out you're nothing, the old man sneered, then tossed a dagger to Becca. Cut her palm and press it against yours. All of her remaining life will become yours. Becca snatched the dagger and advanced on me. I shook my head wearily. I told you, you can't take back the borrowing of my life. Becca, are you sure you want to do this? You're about to die and you're still talking tough. If I don't take your life, I'll be the one to die. Why should I die before I'm 25? Why do lowlifes like you get to live longer than me? My heart skipped a beat. I looked at the old man. Becca had been perfectly healthy before. But it was true, she was fated to die at 25. Birth, old age, sickness, and death are all recorded in the Book of Life and Death. Becca's entry stated she would die in a car accident at 25. How could she know what was written in the book? Besides the judges and the scribes of the underworld, no one can see its contents. How did this master know? Could there be a problem in the underworld? Who are you? I demanded. How do you know what's in the book of life and death? Master looked surprised. You know of the book as well? Whoever you are, I'll find out once I drag you back for questioning. I broke free of the white threads, conjuring underworld energy in my hand and striking out at Master. He dodged with surprising agility, moving like a young man, not an old one. You're from the underworld? He realized. No wonder she's shrouded in dark energy after borrowing your life. You have no mortal life to give, only immortal life. By taking that, her lifespan, which should have lasted until 25, will now probably be over in a few days. What? Becca shrieked, breaking down. I don't want to die. Master, save me. You brought this upon yourself. I lunged at Master. He whipped out more threads, these glowing with a golden light. They struck me, and I coughed up a mouthful of blood. When I looked up, he was gone. Those threads, they carried the aura of the Emperor of the Underworld. When I was punished for my mistake, the heavens, fearing my resentment, stripped me of most of my power. They had wanted to take over the underworld for a long time, and my error gave them the perfect excuse. But I was born of the underworld, my power there was unmatched. To ensure the Emperor could control it, they took most of my strength and placed a restriction on me. I was now subject to the Emperor's power. Master was no match for me. But the trace of the Emperor's aura on him was enough to harm me. Who could possess the Emperor's aura? I asked Becca how she met Master, but she seemed to have gone into shock, just muttering, I don't want to die, over and over. She was no help at all. Damn it. Another dead end. I had just returned to campus to look for more clues when I was kidnapped. My kidnappers were Becca's parents. So you're Chloe, her father said, looking down on me. It was your honor to give your life to my daughter. How dare you play tricks and drive her mad? You have a death wish. Stop wasting time. Let's just do it, her mother urged impatiently. Master said that only when you're dead can our daughter recover. Your life will finally become hers. So it was Master's doing again. He knew he couldn't handle me himself, so he got mortals to do his dirty work. Beings from the underworld are forbidden from harming mortals in the human realm. A mortal's fate is their own. If we interfere and disrupt the natural order, we face punishment. I'd already been demoted to the 5th hall. One more mistake and I might not even have a hall to run. I'd end up as a common spirit guard. But if mortals attacked me, they would face punishment after death. And if my human body were to die, it would be a long time before I could return to the mortal realm. Master had played his hand well. A man in black behind Becca's father approached me with a knife. Just as he was about to strike, someone burst in. Don't move. I've called the police. They're on their way. It was the campus queen, Vivian. Seeing her, Becca's parents panicked and fled with their men. Vivian rushed over and untied me. I was confused. How did you find me? I saw them take you. I followed their car. You've got guts. Why did you save me? Because I'm a good person. What a terrible joke. The sound of police sirens filled the air. Becca's parents didn't get far before they were caught. They were arrested for kidnapping. Maybe with Becca on death's door and losing her mind, they had grown desperate enough to listen to Master's reckless plan. But they underestimated our society's rule of law. Kidnapping gets you arrested fast. Our city is safe. Vivian stayed with me while I gave my statement. I didn't mention the life-stealing ritual, just said I had no idea why they would kidnap me. When the police couldn't get any more out of me, they let me go. Vivian walked me all the way back to school. I'd heard of her before, campus queen, beautiful and kind, always helping other students. Seeing her today, she really did seem like a good person. Too bad she didn't have long to live. Vivian, I called out to her. What is it? You saved me today. I owe you one. It's okay, it was nothing. I would have done it for anyone. So I've decided, I interrupted, to save your life and repay the favor. What are you talking about? Vivian looked bewildered. Your life is being stolen. Your life thread. There's almost nothing left. I'm afraid you won't live to see the end of the month. Chloe, you shouldn't believe in superstitions. We have to trust science. Did someone give you a charm and tell you to carry it every day? If I'm not mistaken, you have that charm on you right now. Vivian froze, her certainty wavering. Your name is written on your charm. The person stealing your life has one too, with their name on it. I was kidnapped by Becca's parents because she tried to steal my life, but the ritual backfired on her. That's impossible. It's just a protection charm. I said nothing. If I was going to help her, she had to accept it herself. If she didn't believe me, I wouldn't force the issue. After a long moment, as if she'd made a decision, she finally spoke. The charm. It was a gift from my brother. My own brother. Vivian took me to her home. And it was only then I realized she was the daughter of the richest man in the city. Vivian's brother Leo had been sickly his whole life. Doctors had said he wouldn't live past 25. But a few months ago, he had made a miraculous recovery. And his recovery coincided perfectly with when he gave Vivian the charm. That's why she believed me. The way to break the curse was simple. Get Leo's receiving charm and destroy it along with Vivian's life-stealing charm. Vivian was shocked. That's it. It's that simple? I nodded. It sounds simple, but now that the ritual is complete, an ordinary person can't destroy these talismans. Even if they got their hands on them, they wouldn't be able to break the spell. But I'm not an ordinary person. Vivian was still skeptical, but she had no other choice. She didn't want to die. My brother and I aren't close. Because he was so sick, my parents had me to ensure the family business wouldn't be left without an heir if he died. So from the day I was born, he resented me. He saw me as his replacement. And I didn't like him either. Because he was sick, my parents always made me give in to him. No matter how awful he was, I was always the one who had to back down. Vivian gave a self-deprecating laugh. It's not my fault he was sick. Why should I have to bear the burden of it? Leo directed all his malice toward Vivian, and she couldn't fight back. Until one day he suddenly started being nice to her. He spoke gently, showed concern, and even gave her a gift. Even if that gift was just a simple protection charm. She never imagined it wasn't a protection charm, but a death warrant. Vivian only had 10 days left. She had to find the receiving charm quickly, or she would die. To prevent any accidents, she asked me to stay at her house. The moment she got the charm, she wanted me to destroy it. I agreed. She saved my life, so I owed her one. This meant a karmic bond had formed between us. If I didn't repay it, the bond would remain. I couldn't return to the underworld until my business in the human realm was settled. Of course, if she died in 10 days, I could go back then too. But the karmic debt would persist. When she was reincarnated, I'd have to come back to the human realm to repay it. Better to resolve it in this life than wait for the next. It would be too much trouble otherwise. I settled in at the Vivian's family home. Her parents were on a business trip abroad, so it was just Vivian, Leo, and the staff. At dinner, I met Leo. Brother, this is my classmate. She'll be staying with us for a few days. Leo didn't even look up, completely uninterested. I looked at his healthy, rosy complexion and the strong, vibrant life thread emanating from him, and I couldn't help but smile grimly. So selfish. Vivian was destined to live to be 80, and he'd taken it all. He didn't leave his own sister a single scrap. After dinner, I made an excuse to chat with Leo while Vivian went to his room to search for the receiving charm. Leo was distant, but not impatient. He made small talk with me, but the conversation quickly fizzled out. Half an hour passed, and Vivian still hadn't come down. Something was wrong. Even if she couldn't find it, she would have come out to regroup. She wouldn't just stay in his room. And Leo? He seemed unusually tolerant of a stranger like me taking up so much of his time. He hadn't shown any annoyance at all. I suddenly looked at Leo. He was watching me with a contemptuous smirk. Oh no. It was a trap. I bolted, but the door was locked. The servants who had been in the house had vanished. Thinking of leaving now? It's too late, Leo said, standing behind me with a chilling look in his eyes. What do you want? Why did you lure me here? Leo didn't know me. He couldn't have set this up on his own. Someone must have put him up to it. I heard footsteps and looked toward the staircase. Master was walking down, carrying Vivian in his arms. She was unconscious but thankfully still alive. We meet again, denizen of the underworld. I should have known. You gave Leo the life-stealing charm. When you lost Becca as a patron, you would have moved on to another wealthy family. And the richest family in this city is the Wens. A little late to figure that out. You can't hold me here. A charlatan playing with magic and a mere human can't hurt me. Who said we were going to hurt you? Master's smile was sinister. We just want to borrow something from you. What? Your immortal life. You're definitely not human. My immortal life is useless to mortals, it would only kill them faster. But to a being from the underworld, it means eternal life. Because I am the only eternal being in the underworld. I exist as long as the underworld exists. My lifespan is tied to its own. Just as humans die, so do the beings of the underworld, and even the gods of the celestial realm. It's not death precisely, but a dissipation. When humans die, they can enter the underworld and be reincarnated. But when gods and underworld beings die, they fade into nothing, leaving no trace behind. Even humans, after many reincarnations, will eventually fade. In this universe, it seems nothing is truly immortal. Oh, except for me. You figured out who I am? I didn't at first. But when you were injured by the Emperor's power, I put it together. An underworld being who can roam the realms freely, but is still subject to the Emperor's authority. There's only one. The Son of Heaven of the underworld, Judge Bao Ming. I hated it when people called me that. It was my title when I ruled the underworld. Now that I'd been demoted to the 5th hall, it just sounded like a taunt. So what if you know? Immortal charm can't affect me. It only worked on Becca because I allowed it. If I don't give you my life, you can't take it. Is that so? Master smirked. You have a karmic bond with this girl, don't you? I froze. With a karmic bond, there's a connection. With a connection, I can transfer your fate to her. Then, I can swap my life with hers. And just like that, I'll have your immortal life. But Vivian was immortal. A mortal cannot bear an immortal lifespan. Not only would she die, but the moment the life left my body, she would dissipate completely, vanishing from existence forever. What a venomous scheme. Ha ha ha. To be praised by the great Judge Bao Ming herself is an honor. Vicious and shameless. How could the underworld have produced scum like this? And I have this young lady to thank for saving you. Otherwise, I never would have thought of this plan. Originally, I was just going to have Becca's parents kill you, sending you back to the underworld for a few decades. But then she appeared. I immediately recognized her as Leo's sister, so I watched you both from the shadows. When I learned you were coming here to help her, I laid this trap. Welcome to my parlor. You'd go this far for him? You'd sacrifice your own sister? I knew the depths of human wickedness, but Leo's life was already saved. Vivian was about to die, and yet, to help Master, Leo was willing to deny her even the chance of reincarnation. It was too cruel. She's just a replacement for me. I never thought of her as my sister. Besides, Master promised that if I helped him capture you, he would use someone else's life to save Becca. Only then did I understand. Leo and Becca were in love. After Leo's life had been saved, he and Becca had gone to thank Master. That's when Chui had read Becca's fate. Desperate to live, Becca had sought me out, leading to the life-stealing attempt. Now, with Becca dying, Leo was willing to do anything to save her, which is why he conspired with Master to trap me. Wait, I have one last, very important question. You're about to die, and you're still full of nonsense. My question is this. What makes you so sure you can control me and take my immortal life as you please? You think that little remnant of the Emperor's power you carry is enough? As the words left my mouth, I lunged, striking out at Master. He reacted instantly, whipping out countless threads that shot toward me. I ignited my body with underworld fire, incinerating the threads as they approached. Seeing this, Master bit his finger and smeared his blood on the remaining threads. Stained with his blood, the threads began to glow with a golden light. My underworld fire was instantly suppressed when it met them. Master's blood contained the Emperor's power. My own power was immediately stifled, and the threads bound me, leaving me unable to move. Ha 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 ha. Everyone in the underworld knows that the once mighty ruler is now a mere prisoner of the heavens, bound by the Emperor's decree. My tiny sliver of the Emperor's power is more than enough to hold you. To think after all this, I'd be taken down by a pen. How embarrassing. You know who I am? How did you figure it out? Master looked baffled, certain he hadn't slipped up. I'm not an idiot. If you can use the Emperor's power to guess my identity, I can certainly guess yours. You know the contents of the Book of Life and Death, you carry the Emperor's aura, and your charms can swap people's fates. The only things that can alter destiny like that are the judges and the judge's brush. Besides, you didn't even bother to change your surname when you came here. You have the same name as your master, Chui. It wasn't hard to figure out. The judge's brush. It had read the Book of Life and Death and could alter mortal fates. Because the judge, Linda, spent so much time by the Emperor's side, his brush had absorbed a trace of the Emperor's power. What does it matter if you know? You're already defeated. Once I take your immortal life and absorb your power, I will be the strongest being in the underworld. The judge's brush had gained sentience and, no longer content to be a mere tool, had escaped the underworld to wreak havoc among mortals and accumulate power. I sneered. A little pen wanted my power? As if it were worthy. I broke free of the threads binding me, a trickle of blood escaping the corner of my mouth. He stared at me in disbelief. How is that possible? You were suppressed by the restriction. How did you break free? You said it yourself. I'm the most powerful being in the underworld. You think a mere wisp of the Emperor's power can hold me? Even if the Emperor himself were here, I could sacrifice some of my life force to suppress the restriction and still go a few rounds with him. The judge's brush seemed unable to believe it. It summoned more threads to attack me. I raised a hand, and the threads disintegrated. With another gesture, the brush coughed up blood and was frozen in place. I was just acting to get you to talk. And you actually fell for it. I scoffed. I had suspected he was the judge's brush, but I couldn't rule out the possibility that one of the other judges had turned traitor. So I put on a little show to test him. He got arrogant and immediately spilled everything. So it wasn't one of the other 9 judges. It wasn't a secret plot by the Emperor. It had nothing to do with the celestial beings monitoring me. In that case, I could stop pretending. Time to get to business. I walked toward the judge's brush, gathering underworld energy in my palm, preparing to destroy its spirit. Just as I raised my hand, a sharp pain shot through my back. I whipped around. It was Leo. He had stabbed me with the dagger. I was speechless. Seriously, dude? You're pulling this now. Leo twisted the knife deeper. Blood flowed from the wound. I shoved him away, stumbling back and clutching my side. The judge's brush laughed maniacally. Bao Ming, you can't harm a mortal, or you'll be cast into the endless abyss. Against a human, you're nothing more than a helpless girl. What can you do now? He was right. I was being monitored by the heavens. If I harmed a mortal, I would be condemned to eternal imprisonment. The endless abyss was just that, an infinite, featureless darkness. No time, no life, nothing. In all my years there, only the mythical creature Diding would occasionally visit. That kind of existence was terrifying. I couldn't go back. It was just me and Leo in the room. Even with the physical disadvantage, if I fought with everything I had, I might have a chance, right? Just as I was about to rush him, Becca appeared. Leo, let me, she said, taking the knife. She turned to me, and my exasperation grew. When did you get here? I've been here the whole time. Chloe, I wasn't supposed to die this quickly. It's all your fault. You gave me your immortal life, and now I'm dying. I don't want to die. Becca, I won't let you die, Leo said, comforting her. Don't worry, Master promised us. If we help him subdue Chloe, he'll give you someone else's life. You'll be okay. Are you too serious? Are you acting out a romance drama right now? You're the one who wanted to steal a life, I said. I even warned you. Your plan to harm someone else backfired on you. How can you blame me? It's all because of you. Becca shrieked, losing control. Leo gently tried to calm her. I couldn't watch. What a pair of psychos. When their little drama was over, they finally remembered their task. Leo came at me, and we started to fight. I'd learned a few things during my years in the human realm, so I could handle one Leo. But I hadn't counted on Becca. As we were struggling, she rushed in and stabbed me again. I got careless. I didn't dodge. While I was stunned by the pain, Leo seized his chance, grabbed me, and tied me up. Master, we've got her. What do we do now? Give me her blood. The judge's brush yelled. You've suppressed me, so I can't absorb your power directly. But your blood contains your energy. If I drink all of it, I can still gain your power. It'll be diminished, but it's better than nothing. I'm not greedy. Not greedy. He wanted to drink all my blood. He'd become as powerful as a high-ranking spirit guard, maybe even strong enough to challenge a judge. I was already bleeding from 2 stab wounds. Seeing this, Leo immediately ran to the kitchen and came back with a huge bowl to collect the blood. The bowl was massive, bigger than a basin. What are you doing, slaughtering a pig? Just as Leo held the face-sized bowl under me to catch the blood, Vivian, who must have woken up at some point, suddenly charged out and slammed into him. Leo fell to the ground. Vivian then took advantage of Becca's shock, snatched the knife from her hand, and quickly cut the ropes binding me. Do it, Vivian yelled. Ignoring the pain, I got up and launched myself at Leo. Vivian, meanwhile, tackled Becca, easily subduing her. My own fight ended quickly. I overpowered Leo. The rope Leo had used on me was now used on him and Becca. Tied up. That's how they'd behave. After tying up Leo and Becca, I searched Leo and found the receiving charm. A person like you would never leave the receiving charm anywhere else while Vivian was still alive. Keeping it on you is the safest bet. What are you doing? Don't touch that. I ignored his shouts and looked at Vivian. I told you, I owed you a life. I'm going to help you get back what belongs to you. I held out my hand, and Vivian placed her life-stealing charm in it. Underworld fire ignited in my palm. The receiving charm and the life-stealing charm burned simultaneously, turning to ash. No. Leo screamed, powerless to stop it. The color drained from Leo's face, while Vivian's cheeks regained their rosy hue. I watched as Leo's life thread flowed back into Vivian and smiled, satisfied. Vivian, you helped me and you used me. Now I've helped you. We're even. Vivian's eyes widened in disbelief. Don't look at me like that. I'm not stupid, I said with a small laugh. When Becca's parents kidnapped me, you said you just happened to see it and followed. But a normal person would have called the police immediately, not followed for that long only to show up at the most critical moment. You were tracking me from the start, weren't you? You figured it out. Yes. I've been following you both ever since you and Becca became roommates. I raised an eyebrow, motioning for her to continue. After my brother gave me the charm and I wrote my name on it, I knew something was wrong. It felt like my body had been hollowed out. I could feel my life draining away, while my brother suddenly got better. That's when I started to suspect him. Vivian gave a bitter smile. I started investigating and discovered the truth. My brother wasn't Master's only client. Anyone with the right connections could find out about his life-stealing business. I knew then that my brother had stolen my life, but I wasn't going to accept it. Why should I have to die just so he could live? I had no way to save myself, so I started tailing my brother, looking into everyone connected to him. I found out his girlfriend, Becca, was also planning to steal a life and had targeted you. I wanted to warn you, but I realized you weren't ordinary. Vivian looked me in the eye, her gaze sincere. So I started following you and helped you at a critical moment, hoping to find a way to save myself through you. And everything went as I'd hoped. You really could save me and get my life back. I'm sorry I didn't tell you the truth from the beginning. I'm sorry I used you. Don't be sorry, I said with a chuckle. You did nothing wrong. Wanting to live isn't wrong. Someone tried to steal your life, but you didn't turn around and try to steal from someone else. You just looked for a way to get back what was yours. You never intended to harm anyone. You're not at fault. You helped me, yes, with a motive, but you did help me. So I helped you. It was mutually beneficial. You have nothing to be sorry for. Vivian smiled gratefully. Thank you. My expression turned serious. You're a good person. And good people deserve to live long lives. I slowly approached the judge's brush. Still suppressed by my power, it couldn't move. Panic filled its face. The mortal's business is settled. Now it's your turn. No. Stay away. You can't kill me. I belong to the judge. I serve under the Emperor of the Underworld. You have no authority to punish me. You can only take me back to the Underworld for judgment. So noisy. I raised my hand, seized the spirit of the judge's brush, and with a gentle squeeze, arg, its spirit shattered, fading into nothingness. All that was left was a pen, which clattered to the floor. Just as I was about to pick it up and destroy it completely, a voice stopped me. Hold on. I turned to see where the voice came from. A man had appeared out of thin air. It was the judge himself, Linda. Your Highness, please spare the brush. I sneered. Here to protect your pet, Judge? A little late for that. The spirit of the judge's brush was already gone. It was now just a pen, an instrument for writing in the book of life and death. Your Highness misunderstands. The judge's brush gained sentience and escaped the underworld. I came to apprehend it. So he wasn't here to protect it. My mistake. No need to apprehend it. Its spirit is shattered. Only the vessel remains. I held the pen up for him to see. Linda's expression didn't change. In my investigation, I learned of the evil it has done. Your Highness was right to deal with it. However, may I ask for the brush back? It was always an inanimate object used for writing in the book. Now that its spirit is gone, it can still be used. If the brush is destroyed, creating a new one, well, Your Highness knows how difficult that is. It could take ages. He had a point. A judge's brush wasn't easy to make. And since its spirit was gone, it wouldn't cause trouble again. I might as well give it back. I handed the pen to Linda and turned to leave. Your Highness, a moment more. What is it now? My voice was impatient. I hated dealing with these bureaucrats. They could talk for an eternity and never get to the point. Since Your Highness has recovered the judge's brush, Linda has a humble request, if Your Highness would grant it. Spit it out. Linda hopes that Your Highness can help me find the book of life and death. We must prevent it from falling into the wrong hands and causing chaos, just as the brush did. What? The book of life and death is missing too? You had 2 magical artifacts and you lost them both? Linda, you've really outdone yourself. The end equals.